Hello friends, welcome back to the Zarathaxx YouTube channel, and this is episode 5 of the Solo Balance Speedrun Challenge. The intro for today's video is going to look a little bit different than the ones beforehand because I wanted to incorporate and show you guys some of the things that I had done afterwards to kind of like hype up the video, and then we lead into it later. In between episodes and every time I log on, I will be doing gardening. So you can see I already have a plant here that's elder. I planted this pink dandelion as well, and I'm going to plant another one to replace this one, unless it gives me level 3, because once we're level 3, we'll be able to plant couch potatoes, and that's going to be a future project for me. It's going to be like setting up a farm, getting couch potatoes, all that jazz. So nothing really to look into for now, but it looks like that didn't level me up, so I'm going to plant another one here. And yeah, there's that. You might have noticed when I was gardening, but next to me I have a new pet here. Sheriff Stella, who is a Zeus's harpy. Now, my pet beforehand was a fire salamander. I had gotten this pet during the Crocotopia speedrun when I defeated a boss, and it was really helpful to me because it gave me this Mander spell. It was almost 400 damage for 3 pips, which is nothing close to what my balance spells can do. And if the enemy was balanced themselves, it was really helpful for me to have an extra hit that wasn't balanced so that I could finish them off. So this pet served me well. As you can see, it has some basic, Gen 1 talents. Nothing really helped me at all. But in between episodes and after questing through all of Marleybone, I was able to get enough gold. And as you can see, I have some extra here to hatch with this pet. Now, if you look at this talents, if you know anything about pet hatching in Wizard101, this is probably not going to work for me. This pet will more unlikely fail. You can see the talents here, they're all like level 1, level 2, and this pet inherited a lot of those talents. But what this pet gets me started with is the pet breeding process. So no matter what you do in Wizard101, when you do a main quest, you get some XP for that quest. So naturally, this pet's going to level up with me as I continue to play the game and stuff, because I just simply don't have Mega Snacks at the moment, and when I have enough gold again, I'm going to hatch it again. So this is going to be the start, finally, of getting a really good pet going on this account. With this pet, I aim to get your, I guess, like, no pun intended, like, balance out my stats. So you can see they're kind of like, they're very mid. I don't have any universal resist. My damage is really low. So this pet I hatched with has a few damage stats, a resist stat, and that's what the end goal is going to be. It's obviously not going to get that with the first couple of hatches, but it's a start for us. On the screen, you will also notice that I am level 40 exactly, which is super nice. So the end of Marleybone ended up giving us 8 total levels. 8 total levels. Which was super nice, and I was able to upgrade my gear in the process. There was no real gear upgrades for level 40, so that's really all I was able to do here, just the level 35 stuff. 30 balance damage, and most importantly, I have almost 60% power pip, which at a level 40 is like actually huge. There's been a lot of fights that I've been able to get like power pips upon power pips and just like spam sandstorms. It's super nice, I'm telling you. You might also be wondering my wand.
He fucked me with a toothbrush!
It's still the Sky Iron Hasta. I just stitched it. The Sky Iron Hasta, if you're looking at it from like a meta term perspective, has a really long wind-up animation where like, you have to spin your staff and like put it around your body. These wands, these like one-handed wands that like you do the normal animation with, are super quick, and they cast your spell out almost instantly. So you are not waiting for a super long animation, and you'll be good in that regard. It's super quick, and honestly, I like the look of it a lot better with the gear that we have, even though of course this gear is not stitched or anything, it's just straight bizarre gear, but I really like the way our wizard looks. The next thing on my checklist for this character, I have the pet going. So the next thing I would want to get is a permanent mount. I can get those starting at 50,000 gold if I want like a broom permanent mount. I'm going to try and get something that looks a little bit better because the broom's kind of ugly, but if it comes to the point where we need to hatch a pet again or get another mount, I'm going to choose the pet first, and if it gets in the way, obviously I'll choose getting a cheaper but uglier permanent mount rather than having none of them. As you can see from our quest log, all I have left to do from the Marleybone quest is the crafting quest, but we are ready to start Mushu, which is the next world after Marleybone. Some of these hidden quests I have include a spell quest from really earlier. I still have the Tomb of the Beguiler, a Photomancy quest from Marleybone, and then Kensington Park, which is very similar to the Tomb of the Beguiler. It's a super long dungeon, super difficult, lots of like 2000 HP enemies. Probably going to wait until either the end of Mushu or at some point in Dragonspire, if and when I get my 7-pip AoE soon. And then also Barkingham Palace in the bottom left. So Barkingham Palace, much like Candlewood Village or Atlantis, side dungeon, you don't really need to do it. I think the payoff for this dungeon is almost nothing. You get a bunch of XP from it, and that's really the only positive side of it. You get XP, but the gear drops are just really not good, and honestly, this bizarre gear that I have more and likely is going to be better than anything that dungeon could ever drop me, so that's why we're not going to do it right now, and also I die a bunch, so. After completing all of the Marleybone side quests, and just again to show y'all, I have like all of these badges here. Not the 100% completionist one, because again, we still need to do a little bit here and there, but I did do the fishing quest for Wizard City. So if I go into my and look at my fishing, so I did a few of I did all of the Wizard City fishing quests, so the one I need to do next is this one in Grizzleheim, and I also was able to complete Sunken City. So I did all of Sunken City. There will be footage for that playing in the background now, but it was super easy once we had all of our gear going and all that stuff, so didn't give me much of an issue this time. Although there are a lot of like 3 enemy fights, but we were able to get through it. Without further ado, let's get into the recap of what we did. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you soon. Marleybone is one of my favorite worlds, absolutely top tier in my opinion. If you disagree with me, you're just wrong. So, I am so beyond excited for if and when they retexture Marleybone. Like, this is, again, one of my favorite worlds ever, and I can just imagine with the great graphics and stuff, like, let's just appreciate the music. Like, oh, it's so perfect. Hello, Private Kinchley. Just as a little recap, we are in the world of Marleybone because we are trying to find the Croconomicon, which was sealed inside of the sarcophagus, which was then shipped to Marleybone. Upon arrival to Marleybone, we are quickly assured that the sarcophagus is safe, but to go and help the mayor as there is a gang uprising that is happening on the streets that they need our help for. Our first task is to meet with Ms. Conrail, who is located in Hyde Park, and she is some sort of neighborhood watch, and she has arranged a meeting with Baxter, who is kind of like a rat within the O'Leary gang ranks, who is willing to give us some information on how to stop the gang. After an incredibly long but ultimately fruitless search for Baxter, we realize that he is being kidnapped by these gearheads, and after defeating them, we watch him get taken away right before our eyes. We then report back to Sherlock Bones without Baxter, and he tells us that we need to go into Chelsea Court to meet with Ms. Marfley, who is another neighborhood watch who would be likely able to guide us in the right direction. Ms. Marfley, being the absolute baddie that she is, informs us that if our man was taken by a clockwork, to obviously search the Clockwork Tower, but when we get there, they tell us that we need a password to enter. I am not even joking you, the entire rest of this street is us trying to figure out how to get the password so that we can enter this one single tower. 2 boss fights later and a bunch of random ass minion fights, we defeat Timmy Icepick, who doesn't even know the password himself. He just has a envelope that tells us today's date and today's password on it. We are finally able to enter the Clockwork Tower, defeat the guys inside, and finally retrieve Baxter, who is our point of contact inside of the O'Leary gang. Returning to Sherlock Bones, and with Baxter this time, we go to Sherlock's personal home in Regent Square to be able to discuss our next move, which ends up being that we have to go into the Ironworks. For all intents and purposes, the Ironworks is your halfway point of the world of Marleybone, which is super insane as far as progress goes, but defeating Pops O'Leary in this dungeon, he informs us that even though he might be defeated, he still has a raid that he called on that we need to now go deal with. The raid that Pops O'Leary is referring to is a scheme from the O'Leary gang to free their leader, Meowiarty, out of the Newgate Prison. We report this information back to Sherlock Bones, who tells us to meet with his partner, Watson, in the Scotland Yard roof. Watson tells us that, post-haste, we need to head into the prison and meet with the officers inside of the prison to inform them and eventually stop Meowiarty from escaping the prison. The questline that ensues in this place is honestly really cool and probably my favorite out of any of the first arc quests. You basically go throughout the prison, and the closer you get to Meowiarty, the further he seems to get away, but you all the meanwhile have these interactions with him, and eventually he appears with Malistaire, telling you that, like any bad supervillain would, your plan is futile and to stop hoping that you'll be able to stop him. Your chase leads you to this random warehouse where Meowiarty has fled through, you defeat the guy inside, and continue your chase forward. You finally enter this clock tower where Meowiarty is present once again with Malistaire, only for him to be able to flee again. You report back to Watson, who tells you that unfortunately you are out of manpower and that you need to help the detectives over in Knight's Court with their problem with Jacques de Scratcher. Your entire job on Knight's Court is to help the really rich ladies that are on the street that are all super scared, but ultimately ends up with you finding Jacques the Scratcher again, only to defeat him one more time, and finally resolve the crisis on the street. In the middle of a national security crisis, you report back to Watson, who has no use of helping you find Meowiarty, but rather tasks you to go into the evil scientist Katzenstein's lab, because he is the one who is behind the creation of all of the evil metal gearheads that we have found along the way. Even though at this point I was extremely overleveled, this dungeon proved to be a little bit difficult, simply because every fight that you have in this dungeon is a boss fight, and Dr. Katzenstein himself is a storm boss who has a storm minion with him as well. I'm going to leave in the fight with Dr. Katzenstein, considering it was probably the most difficult thing in the entirety of this world, and you'll see how that fight went.
I've got the brains and the brawn. You stand no chance.
True. Why couldn't we go first? That was kind of mean. 1600 HP is a little insane. Pulling all my shields first turn is a little insane. If I pull both my sandstorms, I can just get rid of the minion, which I'm fine with. Yeah, sure, life hit me. Rank 5 elite storm bot or storm minion. Yeah, let's leprechaun. Will blade. Hey, you better fizzle. I need to pull my sandstorm next. Or another hit or something. A minion, maybe. Katzenstein also just passed like 3 turns in a row. I'm scared. Is he like cracking me? That was a lot of damage, not gonna lie. I mean... yeah. He just passed 4 turns in a row. Did I bug Dr. Katzenstein in his own dungeon? Of course, I fizz. Well, of the options I have, I will choose to summon my minion. So he has 5 pips, and he chooses to blade the minion that has 1 HP. I mean, maybe that was for a reason. Maybe he's gonna max pip Tempest me, and I'm just dead. Or maybe he's gonna, like, double Kraken me or something. I don't know. Does he know Tempest? I don't know. I know he knows Kraken. We're more than past that level for them to know Kraken. I guess shield. He did Kraken. Ow. The donate power is huge here. Because if I get a power pep, I'll heal myself, and then I can meteor strike after if I pool it. Also, I love how me as the wizard learned this at level, what, 33 was it? And my helpful Mander that I learned at level 16 just knew that. Like, sure. Well, I'm kind of upset at that. Well, he gets it right back. And I can sandstorm. No biggie. Yeah, that's right. Ouch. I'm at 500 HP. My minion needs to shield me on God. Because a Kraken into a Thunder Snake, I think, kills me. Like, I'm being so serious. A pass is not the move. I mean, I think this in case, In case he does, like, Storm Shark? He wants, like, double Storm Shark me? No, okay. I mean, I think I'm dead. Because this is, what, 500? Yeah, I'm dead. My minion really needed to shield there instead of pass. I mean, I have 2 helping hands, but... will it be enough? I mean, he passed. But does this, like, let me heal enough? Does this aggro Dr. Katzenstein? Because a Storm Shark will kill me. A Bats will, like, come very close to killing me. Fizzle? I don't know if this kills me. I really don't know if this kills me. $44. I need to power this. I need to power this. I need to power this. Let's go! We don't lose those. We don't lose those. And anyways, he's weakness. Thank you, Mander. God, I was so concerned there. Okay. So I think this will kill because I have a blade. Jeez. Yeah, nah. You had your chance, Katzenstein. Jeez, that was the closest fight. I mean, that was just Katzenstein. I mean, I say just, but he's a very difficult boss, again, as you can see. But, yeah. I mean, good for us that we were able to defeat him. It's probably a good barometer for the final boss.
Please don't hurt me, mighty wizard.
After defeating Dr. Katzenstein, we rebuild a clockwork golem who is able to tell us the real reason behind why all of these metal men were created. Meowiarty is hiding on top of the Big Ben Tower and is using these metal clockworks to defend him. We take this news and report back to Watson, who then tells us to meet the mayor and Sherlock Bones inside of the museum again to discuss the next steps. They tell us that we need to go into the Counterweight East and Counterweight West dungeons in order to give us access to the Big Ben Tower, because these dungeons house the security latches which will allow us into the Big Ben. These dungeons are normally quite tedious, not in the fact that they are difficult, but rather in the fact that they are long. You have to fight 3 separate waves of minion fights before you're finally able to reach the top and fight a boss. To stop you from just breezing past the minions and just clicking on the levers anyway, the minions will actually pull you into a fight from a sizable distance. However, if you just flee the duel and come back using the dungeon recall, you're actually able to entirely avoid this part, so we were able to use this and just skip right ahead to the top. You are able to do this really quick skip on both sides of the Counterweight Dungeons, so we were quickly able to make work of both sides, and finally we were able to go inside of the Big Ben Tower to confront our arch nemesis, Meowiarty. Even though, again, we were severely overleveled for the world of Marleybone at this point, I honestly thought Big Ben would be really hard for us to complete, and here's why. The Big Ben dungeon has you completing 15 separate floors of combat. There is like a puzzle on 1 or 2 floors, but for the majority of it, you are fighting through 15 floors of fights to complete just to get to the top, where not only is Meowiarty there, but an entire other boss and a 3rd separate minion. I'm going to be generous and spare you about 30 to 40 minutes of straight gameplay of me killing the exact same mob over and over, and just put it as sort of a time-lapse of me walking through the building at the end, after I went back to Wizard City to grab some potions for the final fight. Considering that this is the final boss and the apex of Marleybone, I will leave this into the video now for you to watch and enjoy. Here we go. What could go wrong? Because it's going to make me go first, right? There we go. This kills the minion. We're getting the minion out. If this hits storm or fire, I'm pretty sure this kills. There we go. That was such a lucky pool. Oh my goodness. First turn getting rid of a minion. Now it's just 2 bosses I have to defeat. Do that. Do they know weakness? Am I gonna get weakness spammed by these guys too? I mean, probably. Myth blading him. That's fine. First of our shields. I think we have 4 remaining after this. Nice. That buys us an extra turn. Don't need that yet. Contemplating that. Yeah, we'll summon our Mander. Get him up and going. Make it a even 2v2. Does he know Humongo Frog? I mean, he might, honestly. I don't think it'll kill my minion, but maybe. There's our second shield. Did I put a reshuff in? I don't think I did, but I don't think I'll need it, TBH. Nice, we're protected against everything here. Nice. Dark Sprite. You have 4 pips and we use a Dark Sprite. My gosh. What are you gonna do? What, 5 pips? Cyclops? I mean, it's better than what your friend, your buddy did. Whop up. What, 300? No, 300. I was gonna say that's normal damage. Half of that makes sense. Alright, I want to use this, but if my minion's gonna use it, I don't want to use it. Type beat. I think I'm just gonna pass. Like, low-key, like, I need some power pips here. Okay, that's like all of Meowiarty's pips, right? Yeah, basically. I think I'm gonna do this to help my minion. I think I discard one of these. Well, I'll discard this because I always have the Meteor Strike. We'll do this to help my minion's damage. Because anything my minion's able to do will be nice here. I mean, that's fine as well, so that he doesn't get aggroed. Hopefully I pull another shield here, because they both have a bunch of pips now. Not quite. A Sandstorm? I think I just pass. Like, I can't do any... I don't want to waste my pips here. A Sandstorm will be huge here. I can't exactly Spectral Blast the Agony Wraith, because in case it hits Storm, it's going to do nothing. That's fine. Another Cyclops. I wish I was shielded, but I think we'll be fine to tank one. $300 though. Okay. That's a really nice spell. I'm gonna feint the Agony Wraith. And then we can hit him with the Gearhead next, and a Gearhead plus a Blade plus a Bubble plus the feint might kill the Agony Wraith. We'll see. Especially because he just enjoys sitting at max pips, it seems. So, yeah, we'll Gearhead Destroyer him. This definitely should kill. Oh yeah, nice. And it's just a 1v1 now. If Meowiarty targets my minion, that's fine. It gives me more time to shield. Okay, yeah. It gives me more time to, like, buff up myself. And then I'll just go for a big hit on him afterwards. I don't need one of those. I don't need one of those. I'm gonna pass. I have nothing else to do. Oh, he's targeting me again because I did so much damage to his Agony Wraith. Okay, good thing getting the feint trap off with just a Blood Bat. I'll take a 130. This is great. I'll shield myself again here. Minion's shielding me again too. Just in case. I need to find a balanced blade. If not, I'll just heal myself. Oh, we can just do this. I mean, that's an equally good move. minion shipping him down. And minion can't hit unless he has 3 or 4 pips. Because he only knows Locust, Swarm, and Sandstorm. That's 500, almost 450 damage. So we feint. Oh, minion bladed me into, I think, a Spectral Blast and kills. Because, right, we'll have Blade, Bubble, Feint, and then also the Elemental Trap that minion did earlier. So I think no matter what, even if it hits Ice, which is the lowest. That's right, we be soloing Big Ben out here. We be soloing Big Ben out here. Let's get it. Poor minion had to take a sacrifice. But I think this kills, and if not, I have a Judgment, which also kills. So, with this many pips that I have. Let's go. That's fine. That's fine. It kills.
Inconceivable! How could a mere child defeat me? Ha! Grow complacent, wizard. Malister will avenge me.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. After our intense duel with Meowiarty, we return to the people at the bottom to tell them the good news, and they inform us that we need to finally go back to our headmaster and inform him of what has happened in Marleybone. The headmaster's kind of freaking out because Malister's next stop now is only Dragonspire, and then he will have everything he needs to summon the Dragon Titan. However, on the good side, we find out that the only spiral key available to get to Dragonspire is in the world of Mushu, which will be our next stop. One final good thing to come out of the world of Marleybone and its main quest is that the headmaster gives us the spell Bladestorm, which is yet another blade to add to our repertoire. So yeah, that was Marleybone. Altogether, it took us about 6 hours and 21 minutes. If you're including Sunken City and the fishing quest that I did, it turns into 7 hours and 21 minutes because it took me exactly an hour. But Marleybone in itself, and including the side quests that we are going to be doing, is 6 hours and 21 minutes long, which is about on par to how long Wizard City took, and about on par as to how long Crocotopia took. You might be looking at that time and being in a little bit of shock, because a lot throughout this video I comment and praise Marleybone for being super quick. So what happened? How did we get to like 6.5 hours? The main quest of Marleybone only took me, as a solo balance, 3.5 hours. Really was not that bad, really simple, really mainline, really like great, right? Where they get you is the side quests in Marleybone. Let me explain. People like to credit Avalon as being the worst offender of the back and forth syndrome. That being where you go to a world and it feels like for a large majority of it, you go to one place, you do a few quests, you go back, and it's just back and forth, and it's not fun for anyone, right? Marleybone, in my opinion, is the starter of that with the side quests. So most of the side quests in this world are kind of simple. You kill a minion, you defeat a boss, all that stuff. The bulk of this world side quests, and the highlight of it, in my opinion, the one I really like, is the Policeman's Ball, where you go around, and obviously this world has a lot of police officers helping to defeat the crime. You invite all of them to a big banquet, but there's a lot of preparation that you have to do from the character named Abigail Doolittle, who I think her last name is very fitting because she has you do all of the preparations for the Policeman Ball that she doesn't do, refuses to do, whatever the case may be. She's pretty lazy. Abigail Doolittle herself has 5 different quests where she has you go back into the Ironworks, which is a dungeon, and defeat the street sweepers. Basic minion, not that difficult. You gotta go back 5 separate times, and like 3 of them are a part of one quest. The 4th is a separate, and the 5th is a separate as well. You are going literally back and forth between this girl so many times. So ultimately, the side quests were not that difficult. It just took me a while. I also did it between 2 separate recording sessions because I only had like an hour to play one day because I had guests coming over, and then at the second day I was just like, you know what, we're gonna bang this all out. And literally through these clips, as you're seeing right now, there was no face cam, and I turned off my mic because I was sitting here in my chair like watching YouTube on my phone or on my side monitor here, because this starts the arc of repetition. Most people like to credit the start of this phenomenon to when you get your 7-pip AoE and combat becomes Blade, 7-pip AoE. It gets a lot worse when you learn Sharpen Blade, and it's literally just double Blade until you get your 7 pips. But If you noticed in the beginning of this video when I was showing off my gear, I got a new amulet that allowed me to learn Meteor Strike. So for the majority of my fights, I was blading, elemental blading, passing, and then using Meteor Strike because it does a lot more damage than my Sandstorm. So even now, even if I was using Sandstorm, I would like double blade into double Sandstorm because one Sandstorm alone wouldn't kill, but it was starting to get really repetitive with the style of combat that I was engaging in. The very few boss fights that these side quests have you do are not engaging at all. There's no new combat mechanics. Cheats don't really become a part of like the core game until the second arc, so you don't really got to worry about cheats. You kind of just walk into these fights, throw a feint in your deck, a couple of heals, and you're really good to go. So that's where the bulk of my time was spent. That's the end of that rant. Yeah. The next world we are going to be going to is Mushu. Also a rather long world as far as once you get to the side quests. There are a lot of back and forth side quests there as well, but that will be for next video. If you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, comment, anything. Just sticking to the end, it means a lot to me. I hope you have enjoyed this video and this series, and there's a playlist of this series if you would like to go back and watch any of it or watch it in totality. But that's all I have for y'all today. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.